Ravens, we're ready to start talking about the periodic table. This series is broken up into 5 parts, or 4 parts, excuse me. This is part number 1, looking at basic organization. All right, starting with a little joke. How often do you like jokes about elements? Periodically. Ha ha. What is the periodic table? Well, it's basically, simply put, a giant graphic organizer of all of the elements, and it has layers of information. The modern periodic table, as done today, is organized according to atomic number. So if you look at the periodic table, it increases numerically across the table from left to right and top to bottom. There's a variety of information, just to name a few. Every periodic table will provide you with the element symbol, 1 to 2 letters that signify which element we're talking about. Also the name, it may be printed on there, it may not be. Not all periodic tables have the names. Atomic number, that is the smallest number that is listed in the box. Okay, it's the one the periodic table is organized by. And that number represents the number of protons in an atom. Okay, so every different element has a different number of protons. Okay, average atomic mass, that is that decimal number that's at the bottom of the square. Okay, and it is always a decimal, or almost always, and we'll get into that in the next unit. Not printed on the periodic table is what type of element it is. After today's lesson, you'll be able to say what type of element you have based on its location in the periodic table. Also, you'll be able to read something known as electron configurations, and that's not for it till the end of the next unit when we talk about atoms themselves. Okay. We've already addressed this. The first periodic table is developed by Dmitry Mendeleev, 1869. He initially organized it by atomic mass, actually relative mass. Then it went to atomic mass. We have now learned that it's by atomic number, which is atomic number gives us much better groupings of properties. Okay. The periodic table is organized to illustrate the reoccurring or periodic trends, also known as periodicity. Okay, so this periodic trend, and for those of you that are wondering what this word periodic means, periodics are things that happen at regular intervals. Okay, so ONW Now is a periodical. It is produced every week. Newspapers are daily periodicals, right? Magazines. Okay. All right, here's a graphic of Mendeleev's original table. Periodic table, as we stated, it is now organized by atomic number. Chemical and physical properties of the groups are more similar when organized by atomic number. Things that the periodic table can help us predict: chemical reactivity, chemical properties, physical properties, the groupings, what type of element it is. We're also going to talk about what are called periodic trends. We can predict how an atom or element is going to behave based upon its location on the periodic table, and that's looking at trends. So we can predict quite a few things using the periodic table. Okay, so first of all, the basic things, you got to understand the language. Groups refer to the vertical columns. Some people call these families because in groups, all the members of the group going up and down, and if you think about our create a table activity and breaking the code, elements going up and down have very similar properties, just like family members have very similar characteristics. There are some important groups that have names. We will point those out later in a different part of this series. And they are designated by a variety of number conventions. I'm going to show you 2. One is more modern, the other one you'll see it referred to, so I'm going to show you that one. Going across the periodic table in rows, thinking you row your boat across the lake. Okay. These horizontal rows are referred to as periods because going across a period, properties change. Trends change. You'll see changes going across a period. And then when you go down to the next row, things start to repeat, and you repeat these same properties. Periods are designated by number, and they always have been. So here's a long form of the periodic table. Looking at it, you can see we don't really print it this way, okay? And the reason we don't print it this way is because, number one, this part, the lanthanide and actinide series, they're not used very frequently. So we put them down below. If you pull them out and squish the other two parts together, you can get the picture. You can, of the commonly used elements, we can print it bigger. It's solely a printing issue. All right, take out your periodic table. You have a best chem friend, which is that cardstock yellow one that you were given that's durable and will last throughout the school year. And then you have the one for the notes that you were given on the first page of these notes. On both of these, I want you to pause here and write down the period numbers and the two different formats of group numbers. Okay. You're also going to need 3 different colors for the next segment of the video. All right, feel free to pause me, or actually don't pause me, stop here, and then you're going to restart with the next segment. All right, see you shortly.